In this lecture, we'll have a look on how you can generate better and nicer HTML reports when using Newman. And if you need it, you can even customize the way the reports look like. So let's get started with that. First of all, let's try to understand why should we generate HTML reports in the first place. And HTML reports are usually very useful if you're using Jenkins or doing continuous integration with any other continuous integration server. And at one point, maybe you have some tests that fail there. And with the HTML report, you will get an overview of what happened, how many tests failed or something like that. And you can display all this information on a dashboard or have an overview if you need that. So you can keep an eye on the tests that run like every night or multiple times a day. It just gives you an overview of what's going on there. HTML reports can also help you if you're trying to debug failed tests that failed on the CI server. And it may happen for different reasons that locally the tests work, but for an unexpected reason, they do not work on the CI server. And it is good to have some additional data to understand what exactly happened with that request, and this way to debug and fix the problem. The standard HTML report that's being provided by Newman isn't that powerful, and in case you have seen the reports, they look like this and do not contain real lot of information. So what I'm proposing is to look at an alternative reporter for Newman called HTML-extra. And this is an npm dependency that we need to install separately. But what this reporter does is to provide us right from the start with a very decent report with a lot of detailed information. And just in case you're not happy with everything you get there, there's the possibility of customizing that as well. And it's much better to start customizing using this report because it already provides a lot of data, a lot of examples. It provides very helpful features, and it will make your life much easier than using the standard HTML reporter. In order to install the HTML reporter, the following command has to be installed. And you need to do this locally, and you need to do this on your CI server as well, if that's the case. So everywhere where you're running Newman and you want to use this reporter, you will have to install it first. And in this case, with a -g flag, you're installing it globally. Now, usually you will be running the HTML report by specifying the HTML report. And in this case, it doesn't change much. You will still specify it using the --dash reporters option. And instead of HTML, you'll use the name HTML-extra. So let's take a look on how it works and how it looks like. I already have a collection here, and I will add the reporters. And I'll still keep the CLI reporter and add HTML-extra. Let's run the collection and take a look at the report. You can see from the beginning that the report looks much nicer. And let me walk you through the most important information that you will find here. Now, for starters, on the summary page, you will just get an overview of what happened. So how many iterations, how many assertions, how many skipped tests. This will give you an overview of what's going on. And then if you want to go into detail, you will have the possibility of seeing which are the failed tests and what exactly failed. But most importantly, by inspecting the request, you'll be able to tell why something went wrong. So we have here the iterations. In this case, I'm only having one iterations, but the iterations will be clearly separated from another, which makes it even easier to inspect everything. And then if I'm going inside the request, I'll be able to see a lot of information like where did the request go, but also what headers did I send? Or how did my request body look like? Or what headers did I get back? Or how did the response body look like? And this makes it much easier to understand what happened. And in this case, I can even see that a variable hasn't been properly resolved because I'm still seeing here the syntax for inserting a variable. And obviously Postman didn't find this variable. And for that reason, I have sent this information, which doesn't make any sense. And with a normal HTML reporter in Newman, you wouldn't have this information, so you wouldn't know exactly what happened there with the request body. And for that reason, this makes it much easier. Another nice feature of this reporter is that you can view information that you send in the console. So usually what you log with the console log command isn't really displayed anyway in a normal report, but this reporter can log this information as well. So you see here, I have from my request some information, and everything that I have outputted using console log is displayed here. Now I need to identify a bit what exactly I'm logging here. So for that reason, I have outputted here the name of the request as well, and then can be easily done in Postman. So let me quickly show you how. In this case, I have used pm.info.request name, and this gives me the request name when I'm using console log, and it makes much easier for me to identify from where this log information is coming from. Now, personally, I'm very pleased with the way this report looks like, and there are even some additional flags which allow us to configure how this looks and feels like. There's even a dark theme which can be enabled. You can even see only tests that failed if you want to use that. So everything is well documented in this npm module documentation, and I will not go into the details because you can read that on your own.